get her to come and mop my kitchen floor. No, but you've had a bit of fun. I'd like to be serious now. A teenage girl lay injured in a quiet country lane. The girl was barely conscious, her body racked in pain. A couple walking home found her laying there. They immediately called an ambulance. She needed instant care. Knocked down by a hit-and-run driver, apparently with great force. The girl was bleeding badly, but they couldn't see the source. When the paramedics arrived, they were appalled at all that blood. They said, "We need to find out where you're bleeding from." She said, "I'm from bleeding Romford." Have you got it yet? Last year we had the Tour de France start in Yorkshire, as you probably know, and it passed less than a mile from here at Freshfield. And some people were annoyed about it because the roads were full of bicycles, you couldn't get anywhere. But it renewed my interest in cycling, and I thought, I'll get a bike. And I didn't want one of these sit-up and pegs. I wanted something to suit my, well, I feel young anyway, even if I don't look it. But I got a state-of-the-art racer. And when my mate saw it, I thought, boom. Sarcasm. He said, "I hope you're not going to start wearing a lycra." Well, that was last year. Now they're on about something else. I was down in the cafe with them. I get no respect at all. All I get is sarcasm. It's what I've come to expect. They said, they knew I was in a festival. They knew I was in some kind of show. "What are you doing this year?" they wanted to know. Well, I wasn't going to tell them. I wasn't going to let people know in advance. Well, they started trying to guess, and then one said, "I bet he's going to dance." Well, they told me, "Don't wear ballet tights," and they laughed with tears in their eyes. I just sat there seething. That was to be my surprise. They said, "Don't wear ballet tights. Your legs look shocking." They said, "The tights will enhance your varicose veins. You better wear surgical stockings." And then one said, "You better wear ballet shoes, then you can dance on your toes." My mate said, "He's only got wellies. He'll have to make do with those." Then another said, "In your ballet tights, I was wondering whether you have a little pouch to keep all your bits together." Well, the woman having her breakfast, she choked on her scrambled eggs, and then she started laughing so much the tears were streaming down her legs. Now, I've had to scrap the idea. It made me feel quite sad. The tights were revealing an unsightly bulge where I wore my incontinence pad. But they're always the same, sarcasm. But I just got now, I don't tell them anything. If I'm doing anything, I just don't tell them because I know they'll ridicule me. I didn't tell them when I was going for an audition. Yeah, I went for an audition. Britain's Got Talent. Oh, God. I stood there in the wings. I asked myself, why, what for? I could do without this hassle. I'm old. I'm 84. The theatre was full of people waiting in anticipation. I stepped onto that stage with a feeling of trepidation. I saw the judges sitting there. They asked my name and my age. They questioned why an old man wanted to be on the stage. Well, I started my audition piece. And Simon shouted, "Wait!" He said, "I don't mean to be unkind, but you're past your sell-by date." He said, "You're too old-fashioned." He said, "I think you've lost the plot. We want something new. We want something hot." He thought he'd put me off. He thought I would walk away. But that was my big moment. I was there to stay. I said, "I may be old, but that's no reason to scoff. Simon, fasten your seatbelt, because we're about to take off." Then I changed my style and I started rapping, and moving and grooving and fingers snapping. Started to dance around that stage. I moved like someone half my age. As I danced, I was speaking rhyme. The words poured out in double quick time. My feet were hardly touching the floor. And I did pass it open like a matador. I started to strut. I started to swagger. I was Grassington's answer to Mick Jagger. Just like Mick, I pouted my lips, and I felt sexy and I wiggled my hips. I never knew I could move like this. David Walliams blew me a kiss. People were dancing in the aisle. I even saw Simon Cowell smile. Amanda Holder was having fits. A jaw dropped open when I did the splits. I leapt to my feet. I was in a trance. I found myself doing a river dance. I would if I grew. Then I caught sight of Cheryl Cole. If I was young and handsome, we would rock and roll. But I kept on dancing and I kept on talking. Then I changed tempo and I started moonwalking. Trying to. I wanted to show them I was no has-been. I wanted to strut my stuff before the Queen. Everyone rose, a standing ovation. I was overcome with sheer elation. I heard them shout more. I heard them scream. And then I woke up. It was just a dream. I thought perhaps you might like to know what happened when the corks shot out. When the organist felt the pressure build, he remembered the night before. So to minimize the chaos, he pointed his rear to the door. The cork shot through the door and wrote off the wedding cars. Then it ricocheted into outer space to dwell among the stars. The blast was following close behind, out to that sunny morning. Some dispersed in the atmosphere and increased global warming. The rest was swirling round, and what had been a breeze now became a howling gale, uprooting several trees. It raced towards the harbour, where all the boats were tied. Scattering them, it destroyed the pier and reversed the incoming tide. It continued building up the waves, and on reaching mid-Atlantic, the wind was off the Beaufort scale, and the waves were now gigantic. The Americans went on red alert. They mobilized the army to save the coastal people from that oncoming tsunami. The whole of the eastern seaboard suffered total devastation, and buildings hundreds of miles inland needed restoration. Now the scientists and the weathermen wonder how such storms get started. But we know that in some far-off land, somebody had farted. Thank you very much.
Okay.